One must imagine Sisyphus is happy. One must live in a delusion that they will live or even be happy in order to be remotely sane or willing to take on a new day. Hi, my name is Melissa. I'm an artist, designer, and entrepreneur, and dare I say, a thinker. Welcome to the first ever episode of hopefully many, where we will be talking about existential dread. Yeah, that's everything. Just joking, we're gonna be talking about social commentary, the need for self-destruction, and for need of approval, and the innate possibility and innate capability of humans to survive when everything else seems bleak. This brings me to the theme of today's, let's say, like short essay or an exploration into the beyond. Let's dive into it, shall we? One must imagine Sisyphus is happy, said by Albert Camus. I don't know how you Americans say it, but here in Serbia where I am, we say Albert Camus. Okay, so as Albert Camus wrote in his most famous, one of his most famous essays, The Myth of Sisyphus, Sisyphus is desperately destined to push a large boulder. But anyway, Sisyphus is punished by the gods to push up this huge boulder up a large hill, right? And every time that he does so, at the top, the boulder just falls down and he has to start over the whole thing, right? And in my day-to-day life, I sometimes feel like Sisyphus myself, like repeating tasks like washing the dishes, making dinner, folding laundry, finding clients, doing the client work, doing like all of these things, right? Doing all of these things every day. There's like no innate reward here for me, right? I mean, I do have an incentive, right? I do want clean clothes. I do want to have a clean house and, like have a nice life, right? That is nice. However, we are living in a society, or let's say like a climate, right? Like the current climate, the zeitgeist, right? The current zeitgeist is that you work a futile job for God knows how many years or decades. You don't even know if you're gonna have a pension, right? So you basically are not counting on it in your old days, right? You have no hopes of having a pension, of having a car, or having a house. Maybe a car you can get at some point, but like a house is is an imaginary thing. You're forced to push your daily boulder up that hill every day, just like Sisyphus, right? And because he is in hell, he is condemned to eternal suffering, right? But you're not in hell, right? You're living. You're still living, yet you feel like you're in maybe a personal version of hell for you. I mean, I would go so far as to suggest. Excuse the depression. So anyway, what is the only thing that Sisyphus or us can do in such a situation? If you know in your conscious mind, you are fully aware that no matter how much that you work, you will never earn enough to have a house. You will never earn enough to fulfill your dreams. Maybe start painting or start a pottery class, or like something that doesn't necessarily rely on your survival, like just the things that you would like to do for yourself. You know that you're never gonna be able to do that, so like there's no incentive for you to actually pursue this, but yet you have to do it, right? But imagine if every day you remind yourself that every time that you exit your house you could get hit by a car. And it's a serious thing, because looking at the statistics, it actually makes sense, right? Like you should be afraid. Every time you step out of the house, something can happen to you. You can get shot by accident, right? You can get run over. You can get a random stroke or something. If we approached the boulder with having that in mind, we wouldn't have the strength to approach things anymore. One must live in a delusion that they will live or even be happy in order to be remotely sane or willing to take on a new day. If you believed in the high probability that you can die by getting hit by a car or getting a random stroke, you'd be disheveled and too afraid to step outside. You must think that you will safely run that errand and come back home. You must believe that the success is just around the corner, even though there's no logical reason in your day-to-day life to prove it. One must imagine Sisyphus is happy so that he keeps some meaning and sanity in these repetitive tasks and sheer bleakness and the unpredictability of life. One must have a delusion, hope, faith in order to survive. So basically, every time that you believe in something, it first has to be a delusion, right? Like, right now, I wish that I was a super wealthy, well-off agency owner. But I'm not, right? I'm not. And there's nothing in my reality pointing to that fact, yet. I'm in my pre-success era. One must imagine Sisyphus is happy. You have to live in a delusion that you will live, and you will even be happy to stay even remotely sane and willing to face the new day. If you truly believed in the high probability of getting hit by a car or dropping dead from a random stroke, you would be paralyzed with fear with every step. You'd have to believe that you will run that errand and return home. You have to believe that success is just around the corner, even if there's no logical reason to do so. You have to have delusion. You have to have faith. After a delusion becomes reality, it's called having faith. One must be able to face the void and still have hope and faith or delusion of a happy outcome in order to survive it. So my point is, I've stood at the void, and I looked at the void, and I felt alone, and there's nothing I can do about it. The void is there. It's unavoidable, pun not intended. And there's nothing else I can do about it or control anything about it. I can just control the way that I react to it. I can only control myself around it. I can either let go myself to despair and surrender myself to the void and have it completely overcome me, or I can choose that at some point I will prevail the void, even when nothing in my reality is actually telling me that I'm stronger than the void, or at some point I'm going to overcome the void. But yet, in order to survive, I have to believe that. You have to believe it. Nothing promises you success. Nothing promises you love. Nothing promises you anything in this world. Yet every day we choose to live with the delusion that we will be successful, that nothing bad will happen to us. And therefore we marry, we have children, we invest, we take risks because we believe. And before that, some people might call us delusional. But after what we imagined, what we deluded ourselves about becomes reality, people say, oh, they had faith. They had faith. They had the foresight to see their own abilities in the future. There's nothing you can do about the void. Nothing. The bleakness, the uncertainty, the unpredictability, it will never go away, truly. The only thing that you can do is imagine Sisyphus is happy. Okay, that would be enough for the first episode. I was planning on opening a YouTube account for a long time. I mean, I do have a YouTube account, but I thought about posting videos because I like to talk. Yeah. And I would like to share, some of my ideas, views, art. If you guys are interested, go and follow me on Instagram. It is private right now, but I will maybe turn it into public once I'm ready. And make sure you follow for more updates. I will not try to put myself under any obligations right now because I'm not so sure where this is gonna go. I just wanted to, have a reason to do this bat's nest and show you guys my painting. And last night, had this, I was thinking about the bleakness of things, right? I was like, yeah, I wanna say this. Like at first I posted it on my Instagram story, and people actually had a good response, and usually I think people are not gonna like this, this is like some depression stuff, like, yeah, nobody likes to be reminded of how hopeless our situation is, right? But anyway, like people had a good response, so I thought, okay, well, let's make a YouTube video. So here we are, and I hope you like it. I hope you like my hair, and I hope you like my sunnies and everything else. If you don't, why are you watching this right now? Okay, so this is it. That is all. I hope to see you next time, and enjoy your day. Remember, life is short. You pay bills and then you die. Make sure that before that happens, you do at least something that makes sense for you and makes yourself feel more like you. Just be you. There's literally nothing else you can do. So, yeah. Bye.